Good morning. It's, what day is it? The 27th of June. How is it the 27th of June? And I'm just getting ready to go out. I definitely don't have time to be recording this, but I'm feeling a bit slumpy at the moment. So I decided to pick 3 books that I really know very little about, but that I've picked up, well, 2 of them I picked up very recently. One of them has been on my TBR for a long time. And I thought I'm going to read the first chapter of each of these books and see if any of them take my fancy and maybe, I don't know, make me want to read. Because at the moment, I think it's been the heat. We've just coming out of the end of a heat wave in the UK, and it has been, I have not wanted to read. So I picked these 3 books. Thankfully, before I left, I checked what the chapter situation was. Did I say I was going out? I think I said I'm going out. I'm going out. I checked the chapter situation before we left because I just wanted to check this one particularly. I had the feeling that maybe it was gonna not have chapters, or that, yeah, it might have parts rather than chapters. And I was right, the chapters are really long. So the first, like, split is like almost a third of the way through the book, which is quite a lot of book to commit to reading, like to try it out. Sorry if you can hear my orangutans in the kitchen. They're just really giddy. So, and then when I checked these 2 books, the chapters are really short. Literally, each of them, the first chapter was like a couple of pages. So what I decided to do was to get a dice, and I'm gonna roll the dice twice and add the number together. It's a D20. I thought that's probably not enough. So I'm gonna roll the dice twice and see what I get, add the numbers together, and then that's how many pages I'm gonna read, or like if it's like that's a page away from finishing a chapter, that's how much I'll read. So assuming that I don't get, I'm going to use it as a guide. If I get 20, I'm not going to roll again because 20 seems good, but 40 seems like it would be a stupid amount to read. So I'm going to roll. Where can I roll it? I have no space to roll. Okay. A 10. Let me see what the second number is. A 16. Okay. 26 pages doesn't seem like... No, I'm going to read 10 pages. I think actually reading 26 pages is quite a lot to commit to. So I'm going to read 10 pages of each book or to the nearest chapter and see how we go. So I will do a little bit of B-roll and then... Maybe I'll just take one of these books with me and then I can talk about it when I get back, because if I read 2 of them I'm going to get confused, aren't I? So I'm going to take one. I'm going to take this one because it's been on my TBR the longest. I'm going to read 10 pages or to the, like, rounding up to the nearest chapter, and when I get back I will let you know what I think. I recorded that clip of me saying I was going to read the first chapters like 5 days ago and I just didn't get, no, actually like a week ago, I just didn't get a chance to actually read pretty much anything since then. So I have read the first chapter, or the first couple of pages of each of these 3 books. This one I read the prologue and most of the first chapter, and it turns out it's YA. I was gonna look it up actually on Storygraph just to see what's said about it on there, because I don't think I've actually looked it up at all. So let me see what it says. It is YA. You see, it does have a lot of like tags that appeal to me. Magical realism, LGBTQIA+. Oh, excuse me. Mysterious, like medium paced. But it is YA, and I read 2 YA books so far this year, and I have loved both of them. But I just don't know if this book is going to be a love book, and the idea sounds really interesting, but if it's not done well, it could be really disappointing. So, like, already in the first couple of pages it feels very angsty. Yeah, so I think probably I'm not going to read this one at all. It's probably going to come off my TBR, and I will like put it in my Storygraph. I've got a shelf that's like, keep these books in mind, and if I ever think to myself that one actually did sound like it might be interesting, then I will get it out of the library or something like that. If you have read this book, Spellbook of the Lost and Found by Moira Fowley Doyle, then let me know if I am missing out. I'll keep hold of it for now. I've got a pile of books upstairs that I'm going to take to Oxfam Books at some point, but this video, I'll probably still have this book when this video goes out. So if you have read it and you think that I should read it, then like convince me down below. But I think right now, I didn't realise it was YA, and yeah, it's just not. I've got so many books to read, and this one is not exciting me, so that's a no. I read the first bit of this last night, Every Summer After. 6 summers to fall in love, 1 moment to fall apart, a weekend to get it right. From what I have, I'm not going to read the whole back, but from what I understand, main character hasn't been back to like that island where they would go on holiday for 12 years or something. So she had, or like where she grew up, something like that. She hasn't seen her like childhood love since then. Something big happened the last time they saw each other. We don't know what that is, and now they are coming back together at a funeral for the first time in like 12 years. So it sounds like it's going to be second chance romance. It's summery. It does feel like it's going to be a perfect holiday read. It's a debut as well, I didn't realise that. Carly Fortune is the author. So I think this one... Milo, no. It's just chewing my books casually down here on the floor. You can chew this, Milo. I think this one will probably come. It's not very long, 300 pages, yeah. So it probably won't take me very long to read it. If I get into a good flow with it and get some time to read it while we're away, I don't see why I wouldn't be able to finish this while we're away. So this one is definitely going to come with us. Whether it's going to be the next book that I read, I don't know, but it will come on holiday, and hopefully will get read on holiday. Then I've got I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman, and this one is translated, I think. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh yeah, it's translated from French by Ross Schwartz. Schwartz. And I didn't read the introduction. I just read the first few pages, and this one feels like it might be my next read. I am like so surprised with how my reading has changed recently, because this book is like, if you had shown me my TBR and like 6 months ago and said, what book are you gonna pick to read next, I would not have thought that this would be a book that I would be like thinking about grabbing straight away. Like, I probably would have bought it, but I don't know that I would have been like, this is definitely gonna be my next read, because it just feels like it's quite dark. I will read you the back of this one. Deep underground, 39 women live imprisoned in a cage. Watched over by guards, these women have no memory of how they got there, no notion of time, and only vague recollections of their lives before. As the burn of the electrical lights merges day into night, and numberless years pass, a young girl, the 40th prisoner, sits alone, outcast in her corner, but soon she will show herself to be the key to the others' escape and survival in the strange world that awaits them above. So, I don't know if it's dystopian-ish. Let's have a look, shall we? That would be good. Milo is now destroying the picture I've drawn for the boys of a donut. Oh. The boys read... Little tangent here. The boys read this Donut Squad, and they asked me to draw a donut, which I'm quite pleased with my donut. Milo's just destroying it. Yeah, chew a slipper, Milo. That's absolutely fine. Okay, what can we get about this book? Pardon you. Goodness. Dystopian, literary, dark, mysterious, reflective fiction. And it gets 4.2 stars, and oh, a couple of people that I... Oh, okay, so Fran from Fran Did You Makes has read it. She gave it 3 stars. Interesting. Victoria from What Victoria Read has read it, and she gave it 4.5 stars. And then Lauren from Lauren and the Books read it, and she gave it 5 stars. So this is probably gonna be my next book. I didn't read the first chapter just because the first chapter is like a third of the book. So I thought I'll just read a couple of pages and see. And I definitely didn't want to put it down. I was interested to know what was happening next. So these 2 books are definitely going to be coming on holiday with me. This is going to be my go-to first read, and then every summer after will be there as well. So of the 3 books that I read the first little bit of, I've decided to probably unhaul 1 book, and then the other 2 books are definitely going to be like next on my TBR. This one's going to be the first one, and then this is coming on holiday with us, so that will probably get read pretty soon as well. This one is less than 200 pages, just less than 200 pages, so probably won't take me too long to read it. And then I've got a nice backup if I finish this one. So it was quite a short little video about reading the first 3 chapters. Maybe I will just carry on talking about these 3 books in this video actually, and so maybe I'll come in when I finish these 2 and leave you a bit of a review of it, and if I decide to get back into this one before I unhaul it, then I will pop back in as well. So maybe this video is going to extend beyond the first 3 chapters and just going to be about these 3 books and their time on my TBR. So let's see how these ones go. Okay, so I thought that I would come back in and let you know how I got on with the 3 books that I started at the beginning of this video. I gave this one a little bit of time for me to think about it, time for anybody to sort of comment on one of my videos to say whether or not I should read it, and Victoria, from What Victoria Read, very rightly said there is no time for books that we are not excited about. She's absolutely right. This book has had so much time to excite me and to get read, and I gave it the opportunity to have a chapter to get me into it, and it's just not. So it's gonna go right here on my pile of books that are going to the charity shop next time we do a charity shop run. These 2 books, however, I am so glad that I read. Neither of them have been on my TBR for very long. I think I bought these within the last month, so it's pretty great going. Books usually hang around for a lot longer. But I'm so glad I read these 2 books. They are very different books, and check trigger warnings for both of them because they both have stuff in them that would probably I would want people to be aware of before they just like went into them. This one, dystopian, it's very dark, it's got some really heavy themes, but it's so interesting, and I had so many thoughts while I was reading it, and I'm not always very good at expressing those thoughts. I was trying to talk to Andrew about it and he was just like, what are you trying to say? But just to sort of sum it up very quickly, there are 40 women all locked in sort of a cage, and the only other people they see are the 6 guards who like take shifts guarding them. They never speak to the guards never speak to them. The only way the guards communicate with them is by cracking a whip if the women have done anything that is like that they're not allowed to do. Nobody ever comes into the cage and nobody ever goes out of the cage. They are like passed food through the door, and other than that they stay in the cage. So that like they're not, other than the fact that they are kept in the cage, they're not like abused or anything like that, but they have no idea why they're there. They can't remember why they are there. Some of them can vaguely remember what was happening in their lives before they went into the cage, but they have been there for so long that they can't really remember much, and they have no clues as to why they're in the cage. And then one day an alarm goes off just as their food is being delivered. Siren goes off, the guards run away and leave the door to their cage open, and the women leave the cage. And then it is their story, the story of the child, who is the main character. She doesn't have a name, they just refer to her as the child, and it's her point of view as they... Oh, is my alarm going off? As they discover the world outside of the cage. And yeah, it was really interesting, and I really don't want to say too much because even though there are some really interesting things in there to discuss, it's not a very long book, and so if I say too much it will spoil the book. But there were lots of really interesting things to think about how sort of quickly people adapt to their situation and how things can become very normal that aren't normal. You know, people can like accept situations very quickly when they're not situations that should be accepted. And yeah, it was fascinating, and also just how we survive, like how we fight for ourselves, and it was really interesting. So really, really enjoyed this book. Definitely a trigger warning checker, but really, really loved it. It was a hard read. Like, there was a lot of like, it's not a hopeful book, but yeah, there was a lot of like thoughts about mortality. So it wasn't an easy read, and some of it was just like hard to imagine, and just you don't want to think about it. But yeah, fantastic. I gave that 5 stars. Like I say, I don't want to say too much about it because it's so short that I could very easily spoil it. Then I read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and this was like a really nice, different book. That one was very heavy, very dystopian, very uncomfortable. This one was so the opposite. It is so beautiful, and I don't think it was just like in comparison to the other one, it just felt like such a palette cleanser, or like, not a palette cleanser because that makes it sound like there was something unpleasant about the other one. It was uncomfortable, and this one was just like so beautiful. I was talking to Andrew about it earlier, and like, it's definitely not Andrew's kind of book at all, but it was so lovely. This one is about, what's the main character called? Oh, Persephone. And when she is like an early teen, her parents buy a cottage on a lake, like deep in the north of Canada, and every summer and a couple of other times in the year, they visit the lake, and it is about her friendship with their next door neighbour, Sam. And they grow up together, they have so many experiences, they come of age together, they come into each other's lives just for these periods of time over 6 summers, and then at the end of 6 summers something happens and they do not see each other for 12 years, until right at the beginning of the book, Percy gets a phone call to say that Sam's mother has died and that they would like her to go to the funeral. And she is then pulled back into the world that she was so fond of, and she has to face everything that happened 12 years prior. So this book is 2 timelines. You're in the past with her going to the cabin, and you're in the now, and everything's coming out, and the things that happened 12 years ago are uncovered. And while I had a suspicion of what the event from 12 years ago was going to be, when it was actually revealed, the way that the author revealed it, it still felt like such a sort of shock. Like, it was so well done, and like it, and then like it didn't stop there with like the sort of revelation. So it was just so beautiful. These 2 people who you just really felt like they are supposed to be in each other's lives. It was beautiful. It was really romantic. Like, second chance romance is one of my favourites, but only if it's sort of done well, and this one is done so well. It's not like a sort of that, like, I've read quite a few romances recently that are like that kind of really heavily spicy, like small town. It's not like that. I mean, I love the Dream Harbour series, and this is like a similar sort of story to one of the Dream Harbour books, but this one is definitely like a different kind of romance book, like written very differently. There is spice in this, but it didn't feel like it was why the book had been written. it just was absolutely lovely. Like, I cried at bits of it and I laughed at bits of it. Honestly, it was one of my absolute favourite books of the year so far. 100%. 5 stars. It was just beautiful, like, and so atmospheric with the cabin, and it just felt like Percy was having the summers that you wanted to have as a teen and was just experiencing things that you would have loved to have experienced growing up. Yeah, I loved this book so much. So if you are like looking for a really cozy, summery, romancy, like just feel good book, then this, I would highly recommend this. Check the trigger warnings, but I would recommend this because it is just so lovely. And I wish I could read it again for the first time, because it's definitely one of those books that reading it again I'm sure would be really fun, but you can only read these books for the first time once, and I wish I could read it again for the first time because it was just so really lovely. Oh, I loved it. I loved the characters. I don't think there was actually really a character in here that I hated. Like there were characters where you were kind of like, ugh, but they felt so genuine. Like, you know, there were teens in it, and sometimes teen characters who are kind of, sometimes teens can get a really bad representation because they are like somehow written like they are just horrible people, when in reality they're just teenagers who are trying to figure themselves out. And the teenagers in this book who were like occasionally maybe not very pleasant were just teenagers being teenagers and just figuring themselves in the world out, and you just kind of felt like that was what it was. It wasn't that they were just really horrible people. It was just teens being teens. And so I loved that because it felt really unjudgmental of teenagers, and it wasn't like overly angsty in the teenage bits. It was lovely. So I would recommend that. I would recommend both of these books, but for very different reasons. It was nice to read two like so different books, and they both finished them both during my holiday time, which was really lovely as well. Both of them I think were, I'm staying up late to finish them. This one definitely I finished it last night, and I stayed up way past my bedtime to finish reading that because I just couldn't put it down. I was just at that point in the book, you know, where you're like, I need to know now, if I put it down it's just going to ruin the flow of the book. So I just had to stay up and finish reading it. It's just, you know, what are you gonna do? So yeah, lovely. If you enjoyed this book, please do like it, and if you are not already and you would like to be subscribed so that you can be around for more of this kind of thing, then hit the subscribe button as well. Thank you very much. And that is it for this video. It was really fun to sort of read a couple of pages, a couple of chapters of a book, and then I'd meant to get a bit more b-roll of me actually reading the books, but if you've watched my vlogs you'll know that our holiday did not end like how you want a holiday to end. So the past couple of days have not really been vloggy, b-rolly type days, so I would have liked for there to have been a bit more b-roll, and maybe for me to have dipped in midway through the books, but I was enjoying reading the book, so, but it was fun to take you through from first few chapters to finishing them and giving you a review of just these two books. I will probably do this kind of video again because I quite enjoyed it, and maybe I'll do something like this as a way of doing my bookish wrap-ups, because it's definitely easier to talk about the books when you've just finished them, so I might see if I can figure out a way to maybe do something similar with other book reviews. But anyway, that is it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!